This is the Spritz Girl Mindset Podcast, and I'm your host, Courtney Young. If girlhood is a mindset, this is where we practice it out loud and unfiltered. We're healing, we're yapping, and we're doing it with spritzes in hand. Here's your permission slip to be soft, messy, and magnetic as hell. So grab a spritz, grab a seat, no small talk, just the real stuff. Okay, and we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the Spritz Girl Mindset Podcast. My name is Courtney Young, and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first ever live episode. Shelby, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and we're going to get started.
Hey, I'm Shelby. I'm going to be doing Courtney's hair today.
Yay! All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. First part of this is going to be Shelby kind of consulting with me and walking through what we're going to do and showing you guys what that process looks like. And then she is going to mix up, and then we are going to go ahead and record a live episode of the podcast. So I will let you take it away, my girl.
Okay, so we're doing calico.
Yes.
Okay. So with this, what are we thinking for your copper?
Ooh. So I'm thinking more like copper rather than like a violet-y.
More like a true cowboy.
Yeah, more like a true cowboy.
Okay. And we want to go blonde, dark, copper.
Yeah,
Now,
not black necessarily. Like
not
I've
black.
seen some of the calicos where it's black, and I don't think I want that.
I don't think so either. I would think like maybe like a mocha dark chocolate.
Yes, that's perfect.
And for our blonde, because you have red, I do think it'll be hard to get it to like a pearly white blonde.
That's fine.
Maybe like a beautiful golden, like a buttery blonde.
Love it.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I'm thinking smaller strips and maybe just a little bit of blonde around your face.
Love.
Just the tiniest.
Yeah, I haven't been light in a hot minute. I used to have like a chunky money piece, and I love that. So,
Okay.
but I totally trust you. Whatever you think.
I'm thinking of them like almost chunky. Almost.
Love. Yeah, like 90s-ish.
Always.
Love
Always 90ish. Yeah.
Love it.
Inevitably will do that. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to focus on this.
Perfect.
Refreshing this.
Perfect.
Blonde, dark, red.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and mix your color, and then I'll come back and section will take forever, and we'll do that.
Yay! All right. Perfect. We'll be back, everyone. So we're just gonna hang out here for a sec. If anybody has any questions, wants to hop on. Anything?
It's already going. So if you guys want to pop your face
here,
Hannah.
Thanks for being here. Hi, Jessica. So happy you're here. Hi, Ariana. Hi, Elisa. How's it going? Jessica said, I cannot wait to see the result. I cannot wait to see the result.
I am excited. I feel terrible though, but
we
we had to
capture it.
and
So it's
Nick,
gonna be
for live is already going. I have to. I mean, I literally have to. And we
Oh, hello.
Patience.
You guys can come say hi. I'm sure you have fans. These are our assistants, Sophia and Hannah.
Aaron's
Front desk
idea.
team.
Honestly, the best thing you could have done. And that made it round. So that was great. That was a good idea. Yeah, I'll do that in the future. I love that.
Okay, well, I am going to chat about something for a second. So this morning, I was really proud of myself because I pivoted. And I was supposed to be on a flight to Atlanta tomorrow, but the only flight that was available was like a 6 a.m. flight to Detroit and then down to Atlanta, which I was like, oh, old Courtney would have done all that. I was like, that's too much work. I am not flying all the way to Detroit and then back down. But I'm proud of myself because I tend
Do
to
y'all
trip
go
on
home with some underwear? Or
ideas,
y'all take a shower
like,
first or what?
like needing
Oh, okay, yeah.
to be involved in everything and have
She said
together.
hell no.
Where I'm like, my husband would tell you I would have like pulled my way like through it. But I didn't. I let go of the original plan and I said, you know what? Okay. Things are not going 100% according to my plan, and that is still fine. Let this be a lesson that we can pivot. The plan can change. It doesn't have to look the way you expected it to, and it can still go great. So that's my little motivational speech for the morning. All right. I see Abigail and Madison on here. Hello. Hello, Anna. I see all the friends. If anybody has any questions they want to pop on and ask while we wait for Shelby. We're just kind of hanging out right now, so feel free to pop on. We're just hanging out. We're hanging out over here. Thank you guys for being here.
Okay.
Yay! She's
Here we
back.
go.
All right. You ready?
Yes, we have 4 formulas.
4
We are
formulas.
ready.
That is a lot of formulas.
It's a lot of formulas.
All right, Shelby. So why don't we start by just having you like introduce yourself, like give us a little context as to who you are, like all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm Shelby. I'm from Nashville. I do hair. I got 2 kids. I'm super into thrifting, alternative style, art. What else do I like? Baking.
I wish I had the patience for thrifting.
Yeah, it's all about the thrill of the hunt.
See, I like the dopamine hits.
Yeah, you got to be about the journey, not the destination.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it is. But sometimes you find treasures.
Treasures.
I often find treasures.
What's your favorite thing you found?
Actually, this is kind of going in with what we were going to talk about
Oh,
later.
okay.
So right now, I have been on a thrifting spree because I'm doing thrifting baskets for Christmas.
That is such a fun idea.
Yeah, and everything is hand-picked out for that person, like curated specifically for them. So I have been thrifting constantly, and my girl math on that is I usually do a $50 for everybody, but if I thrift it, I can buy like twice as much.
Girl math,
It's
right?
girl math.
I
Girl
love
math.
that.
But yeah, I've been hitting it pretty hard for the past 4 months. Probably.
That's so smart. Do you have any favorite, like for the Orlando locals, any favorite Orlando local thrift spots?
I'll tell y'all a couple spots, but I can't tell you all.
Okay. Not all of them.
Not all, but City Thrift just opened a second location on Edgewater Drive.
Okay.
Edgewater's the original. The new one's on Cimarron.
Okay.
Both of those I would highly recommend.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you my favorite spot.
Of course, because
there's so many thrifts around here. It's insane.
also, like, people say that they're anti-gatekeeping, but like, I'm not anti-gatekeeping. There are some things you just have to get to.
Well, and a thrift store has limited stuff. Like, there's only going to be that much stuff. So this is kind of interesting about your hair.
Okay.
We do a star sectioning on top because when your hair parts in the back, I don't want you to see lines of like.
Okay.
So I'm going to get you to actually lean forward so you can see your star sectioning because I think it's so cool.
Is that forward enough?
Yes, it's a cute little star.
Oh my gosh, right? How fun is that?
It's cute. It's a little star.
I love that. So you're a star. All right, Shelby. So how did you first fall in love with doing hair? Walk me through that journey.
Okay. I never wanted to do anything else. The only thing I ever wanted to do was something with clothes or something with hair. And my grandmother had an office. And when I was like 5, I would sit in it and I would be doing the books for my spa. And that was like how it played.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, now I don't want to own a salon or anything, but it was always about my spa.
That's so cute.
That was always the thing.
That's so cute. So you just knew like from day one that is what you wanted to do and you were passionate about it.
Yeah. I never wanted to do anything else. So my high school actually had a cosmetology program too. And that was really cool because I got to start in high school.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun.
So when I was 14, I started doing hair every day.
And that was
and
the start of it all. Did you have like a favorite thing at that time that you were doing, like when you were 14?
It's a super weird and niche thing because I like weird and niche things. Marie Antoinette by Sophia Coppola had just come out.
Okay.
And I was really into doing 17th century like updos, like with the birds and stuff in them. And my teacher would let me do it because, like, why not?
Right.
So I would do just like, really tall Marie Antoinette. Yeah.
Oh my
that was
gosh.
my thing.
That's so fun. I'm obsessed with
It is a weird one, right?
Yeah, that is. I mean, but see, like, I feel like weird, yes, but weird in like the best way.
Weird is so cool.
Yeah,
too.
right.
And
Like-
it's always cool to do something that like somebody else isn't.
Right. Yeah, to do something original and unique.
And it's hard to be original like now.
Right.
Because we all have content nausea. Like there's so much.
Oh my gosh. I get overwhelmed and overstimulated so easily by everything on the internet all the time. Like I feel like everybody's kind of doing the same thing and everybody's just doing their best, but also trying really hard. And you can really tell when somebody is putting content out there and they're being someone they're not,
Yeah. Yeah. I have so my thing is TikTok and I have a community of mostly style influencers, like thrifted girls.
That's so fun.
And we gas each other up constantly. Like it's me and the same little group. And we're always commenting on each other's stuff, being like, this is so cute. Where'd you get that top or whatever? And yeah, it's cool. You gotta boost people up when you can see that they're trying, right?
Yeah. No, I love that so much. And I feel like it's so important to have those people in your circle that are going to like see you and support you and encourage you and
Mhm.
do it in a way that's authentic and honest and not just in a like, I'm gonna talk nicely about you because I have to kind of way, you know?
Yeah, and it's so unusual to find people like you've never even met in real life to be so supportive and yeah, just like rooting for you and you don't even know these people. It kind of almost gives you like faith in people too, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. It really does because it encourages you to show up as your true self and not as, you know,
Well, and it's giving you validation too. And we all really that, but also just to find like-minded people,
yeah. Yeah.
especially as a niche girly.
And I think especially for women in their 20s and 30s and even early 40s too, like it can be really hard to find those people. So, and I always say
People.
this, like you just got to show up, you just got to shoot your shot and the more you can just like put yourself out there, you'll find those people because they'll be attracted to getting to know you for you and not that fakeness that you're
Mhm.
putting out to the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you are somebody's cup of tea. Like no matter who you are, you're somebody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
For sure, and I do think, having these, platforms like you do, like TikTok or Instagram or, your Spritz Girl, it does really open up the door for us to, have that, the community, right?
Yeah. No, and um one of my very good friends, his name is Ryan actually. He said something to me that comes to mind when we talk about this and it was this idea that you can't be for everybody because you're an entree and not a buffet.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like I've been a buffet before, but that was very bad for me.
And it's
You know what I mean?
draining.
I've been a buffet.
It's draining,
Yes.
and when you think about a buffet, like, a lot of times you go to these buffets and unless you're paying, like, a lot of money, like, the food's mid.
Yeah, the food is mid, probably because, you've been pouring from an empty cup when you're trying to be everybody's buffet, right?
Yeah,
That
you
makes
gotta, like,
sense. Yeah,
pick what you are
I
and who
like
you
that.
are and show up in that way.
Mhm.
Alright. Well, girlhood, let's talk about that. What does girlhood mean to you now? Especially, I'm particularly interested in, like, being an adult behind the chair, getting to yap with girls all day. Like, what does that look like? How does it manifest for you?
That is the whole thing about doing hair. I feel like I'm at a sleepover every single day. But in general, I would say girlhood is like the theme of my life. I have 2 daughters. And so at home, it's all girlhood. And then I come here and it's all girlhood. I guess as far as being a stylist and where girlhood comes into that, I feel like to be not a child, to be a woman and have girlhood, it requires like a little bit of vulnerability, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think doing hair, this provides such a space for that vulnerability. For some reason, like when people sit in a chair, you do feel, or it's always our goal to make you feel like you can be vulnerable here. And I think like the girlhood of it is that a lot of the times people share with me stuff, like really personal stuff
Yeah,
that matters to them. And to me, that is girlhood, is like getting to be a safe space for those people. You know what I mean?
I
And
love
just like
that.
being trusted in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you get to be there for some of the most important moments, and I don't know, I think a lot of times it's really easy to fixate on those, like, bigger life moments, but also sometimes people just need somebody to sit there with them in the smaller moments too, and, like, to make people feel seen in that way and in that kinda light, like, that's such a powerful gift and a powerful tool, so I love that you kind of view it through that lens.
Yeah, and like some of the people that sit in my chair, like they might be an aerospace engineer. I have a few clients that are, or like a really stressful, crazy job. But when they sit here, like all you gotta be is like a girl.
Yeah.
All you gotta be is a girl.
Yeah,
Maybe the
that's
salon's like the place for that, right?
yeah, I mean, where else can you kinda, like, drop your stuff at the door and just, like, sit, you know? Like, you got nowhere to be, you got nothing to do, you just get to exist, and that's, like, the coolest
And like
thing.
you don't have to prove anything to me
Yeah,
because you know your hair is not affected by any of your accomplishments or any of your setbacks or anything like that. So like to us, it's all the same. Not that
yeah.
we're not proud when you do have accomplishments, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
I mean, it's pretty evident that you work really hard to cultivate that space, you know, I see a lot of people
absolutely.
on TikTok and on different content platforms saying, like, you know, hairstylists are therapists or, you know, they can act a lot like therapists, and so I just think that's such a powerful and special and beautiful thing that you get to participate in and just, like,
The
see
therapy
people.
goes both ways though, because when I'm talking to my clients, a lot of the times I can relate because I've been through a similar experience. And they're giving me therapy sometimes too, but is that not girlhood?
Yeah.
Girlhood is us like, finding those answers within each other and those shared experiences.
Collaboration, I think, is such a huge part of it, and I always talk about, like, listening to understand rather than listening to respond, Sitting with someone, genuinely wanting to hear what they have to say, genuinely receiving what they have to say, and taking it and applying it, and not necessarily, only listening to what they have to say to come up with a response.
Yeah, that's actually a huge problem. And a lot of people, I know exactly what you're talking about, where you can see when you're talking about something, maybe something like devastating, and the other person, you can see they're just waiting.
Yeah.
I think I consciously try not to be that kind of person, but that's like one of my greatest fears is to be one of those people that's just like trying to get out what I'm going to say. But a lot of the times, I think you're this way too. If I have a story that relates to that, I want to hurry up and get it out because like I want you to know I feel you.
Yes. Well, I can't speak for you, I can
Wait,
speak.
you're a Gemini, right?
I'm a Gemini,
Yeah, me
yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yep,
So
I'm a
that explains
Gemini,
it.
and it's that, and it's the ADHD, it's both.
Oh, same.
It's
Well, I'm gonna forget.
right,
Yeah.
like, and a lot of times I'll, like, go to relate to you, not because I'm not listening, but because I wanna show you that I am listening. So,
Exactly. And what's more proof if you have a similar situation?
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, speaking of that, what's a yap session that kind of reminded you how much we all just wanna be seen and understood? Like, have you had any, like, yap sessions
Yeah.
recently?
Relating to hair or just like in
Just in
life?
general, whatever works, whatever you wanna share.
This one is both. It's one of my best friends. I did her hair and she'd been going through like some struggles, just like in life and motherhood, just, finding our place
Yeah.
as they change. And it's the craziest thing. We gave her a money piece and we talked about all of her problems. And I know it sounds crazy, but that money piece made such a difference. And I think it was just having that right up front. And then also the weight being lifted, like in the chair, talking about all this stuff. She was crying and she said she had like never felt so beautiful. And I don't think it was necessarily the hair so much as that being like a physical representation of like the transformative conversation we had had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Uh,
And it felt impact or like, wow, maybe I made a difference in this moment.
yeah, she felt seen by you.
Yeah. And of course she is because she's one of my friends.
Of course.
Still, like to see that they feel that is a big deal, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so I love that so
That's a
much.
good answer.
That's a
Yeah.
great answer,
Okay.
yes,
I
absolutely.
have a lot of moments like that though. That's the whole thing with my job. And I'm always talking to moms, and moms are almost one of the most vulnerable groups as far as all of that goes. Feeling like maybe you've lost a little bit of this or lost a little bit of that. And
Yeah.
helping them like find themselves through friendship or hair or whatever.
Yeah, I believe that because moms have to wear so many different hats and show up in so many different
And a
ways.
lot of times hats we've never worn or thought about. You
Yeah.
know?
I totally believe that. I'm not a mom, but my sister-in-law is, and she talks about all the time just the idea of constantly having to carry the mental load. So I can only imagine all the different hats you guys are having to wear.
Yeah, and it's not specific to moms, I guess. Well, yeah, I think it's just because it's like such a transformation of your life and your role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of your personality specifically do you feel like shows up the most when you're doing hair?
Oh my goodness. That's a good one. I would want to say empathy.
Okay, I love
Um,
that.
yeah, or even communication. Probably communication.
Yeah.
That one seems important on a personal and like a professional level. Doing
Yeah.
hair.
How would you describe like your specific communication style?
My specific what?
Communication style.
Communication style. I think I'm probably very familiar.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, you definitely give best friend energy.
okay, cool, cool. I think it's because I'm Southern.
I mean,
Yeah, there's
that
a
definitely
warmth to
helps.
that.
Yeah, you definitely warmth is a word I would have used to describe you.
Oh, that's just like being from Tennessee, but I do try to be a pal to all
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, and that shows up I feel like in your brand and like in who you are as a human. Like, you're very consistent about that. So I love.
Oh, I love to hear that. Good.
What do you feel like? Okay, so like everybody has their like brands or their like themes, right? So for me, mine are authentic storytelling, radical honesty, and girlhood. Like I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my shoot from the hip, but yours is like, I want to be a friend to all. Like I want to be everybody's best friend. Like how did you kind of come up with that? What about that resonated with you? Like what made that land?
Okay, so when I started at Theory, everybody here is so talented, and I didn't have my new specialty worked out yet. But one thing I knew that I was good at is being friendly. And so if you see my Instagram, it says Orlando Hairstyles and Friends because I know I'm good at being a friend, and that is my specialty. My specialty is like cultivating a warm space for you to just like chill and gab. Now I'm a perm specialist, but at that point, it was that like, oh, I know I'm good at being a friend. And I mean, you have to be consistent with it with work at least because my clients are my friends. I don't know if you noticed, I always call them friends. I try not to call them clients.
Yeah.
Because they're more than a client. Like they truly are my friends. So it's not really hard to keep that up because, if somebody's coming in here supporting me in that way, that is my friend. That's them showing they are my friend because they're here supporting me when they could go anywhere.
Yeah, I love that, and I do notice that anytime I see you talking to your clients, you always say, "Hey, friend," or when you're talking about your clients, you describe them that way, so
And they are my friends, I think. You get close.
yeah, and I do wanna come back to the term of it all as well, like, how did you get into that?
That's another southern thing, I think. So when I first started doing hair, the guy I apprenticed, I worked in more of a beauty parlor than a salon. And there were so many perms because the clientele was a little older. So that's what I did most of the time. And I feel like sometimes the South can be a couple years behind.
Yeah,
And we still did a lot of them. So it wasn't anything to me to do a perm, but I also really love handicrafts.
okay,
So anything like at night, I'm always hand sewing or embroidering or something. And a perm is exactly like that. It's just like a craft with your hand. So when I do it, I'm just like in my zone.
I feel like you just have this, like, very unique patience about you that I
That's
wish I could
crazy.
cultivate in myself, and I cannot,
I
like,
would never use that word to describe myself.
I love that so much. Okay, so we kind of touched about this already, but like, what feels the most you about the way you connect with your clients?
I think it's very me because, I don't hold anything back as far as, like, anything, like, I'm truly an open book, and I always wanna be 100% honest with my ladies about whatever it is, whether it's, like, a conversation we're having about where you're gonna get the best fried chicken, or if it's about, like, my love life, or if it's about, like, their divorce or
Yeah.
whatever. I try to be just, like, honest and real. I do think people appreciate an authenticity,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Radical honesty is such a huge pillar of mine.
"Oh,
It's
that's one of your
something,
things."
radical honesty is something we talk about on the podcast a lot. And I use that word radical on purpose because it is radical to be intentional about showing up and doing the hard thing and being honest. And it's not something that's common anymore. Again, we talked about this earlier. You have so many people that will hide behind the masks or will get lost in the like what they should be doing or how they should show up. You know what I mean? And so many people think that like support is just agreeing with everybody. And I don't think that it is. I think it's trusting that you're safe enough to be true to who you are in a kind and clear way. And that's like a radical concept. So I love that you said that because that kind of honesty I feel like is so needed
Yeah, and
in
in, like,
just
every
relationships.
every aspect.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
No, absolutely. Well, and I think that does kind of segue into our next like question, which was we had a listener ask, what is your best advice for building real adult friendships?
Okay, is that question for us both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll let you go and then I'll give my answer.
I built a lot of friendships. I feel like that's, like, my job is to build friendships, and we all have a common thread. I just find that common thread and pull on it, but once you start talking about the one thing, like, "Hey, what shows are you watching?" Maybe you're watching the same shows, or maybe you're into the same period of history, or
Yeah.
maybe you're into the same makeup. Once you find that one thing, I'll just keep gabbing about that until something else comes up, and it usually does, but sometimes that's where it ends, and, like, that's as far as your friendship's gonna go. That's cool. That can be surface level friendship.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, you just find a common thread and keep going,
yeah.
you know?
I think that's such a great place to start. Like
Yeah.
I think so many people get intimidated by this idea that it has to be like immediate. You know, it has to be an immediate connection. You have to have that instant gratification, right? Like relationships are work, they are intention, they are showing up.
Mhm.
For me, two of my biggest secrets. The first one is you got to shoot your shot, right? And that sounds so cliche, but I have found that every single time that I just show up and I try and I put myself in the headspace of, hey, I'm going to introduce myself and it might land and it might not. And that's okay. Like, I love myself enough to be okay with whatever that answer is.
Like when you see a cool girl that you want to be friends with?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Like at the dog park, that's an example I give a lot. I met so many of my best friends at the dog park because I will talk about their dog. Like,
That's the place to go. Okay, because like the
yes.
playground, I'm meeting moms and
Yeah.
it starts with like, oh, he's so cute. How old is he? That's always the first. That's probably what you say about the dogs, right?
Yeah.
And then that leads to, yeah, my family had that kind of dog, which leads to even bigger conversations. Yes. And you're building on that.
A
You're pulling that thread,
genuine
right?
compliment will go such a long way.
Yeah, but it has to be genuine.
Right.
No.
Right. People know immediately if you're lying. And that's one of my like, when I'm up at the front desk here at the salon, that is one of my go-tos is if you like something that somebody is wearing, if you like somebody's makeup, if you like the way they like styled their outfit, if you like their shoes, tell them.
But it should be very specific for sure.
Absolutely. It should be specific and it should be genuine and again intentional, like there's a difference between giving a compliment because you feel awkward and you feel awkward taking up space and giving a compliment because you genuinely like something.
Yeah, and people feel that.
Yeah.
They definitely know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think people appreciate you just trying, but I do love a true, like, really obscure compliment. I love that. You're right.
Yeah. And when it comes to shooting your shot too, I'll tell you another way I've shot my shot. A couple of years ago, I am a big reality TV fan. I love The Bachelor. I love Big Brother. I love Love Island. I love all of those things. And my husband and I had made a deal, and I said, I will watch fantasy football if you'll do a fantasy bachelor. I think we should do that. I think we should make it happen. He's like, okay, let's make it happen.
Let's do a compromise.
All I did was post on Facebook. And I said, hey, my husband and I are starting a fantasy bachelor league. It's a $20 buy-in. It's going to be fun. Let me know if you want to participate. Wouldn't you know it? I posted that. And I had about, I think there were like 6 to 7 different people, all from random different parts of my life that literally came together every single week to watch The Bachelor and talk about it. And I actually reconnected with one of my very best friends who we were best friends in kindergarten. And she had commented, she had just moved back to Florida and she commented on Facebook status. And I was surprised in her wedding and she's having her baby now. And like, all because I posted a status on
And
Facebook.
y'all got back into each other's lives?
Because I posted a status
Oh.
on Facebook that said, I'm starting a bachelor fantasy league. And so something I always say is
Shoot
like,
your shot.
right. And what's the
Yeah.
worst thing that happens? Nobody comments back. Nobody responds. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna kill me.
Oh
Yeah.
no. You know what? Guess what? Rejection is redirection. And that's one step closer to you finding the people in your life that are going to show up
Yeah.
for you.
And there's nothing more embarrassing than not caring.
Yeah.
Not caring is the most embarrassing thing to do. If you try and like it doesn't turn out, whatever. At least you try.
Yeah. At least you showed up. At least you proved to yourself
Yeah.
that, your own perspective, your own thoughts, your own feelings, they matter just as much as everybody else.
Of course.
And every time you do that, especially I feel like inside of rejection, every time you show up for yourself in that way, that's you teaching yourself to love yourself a little more and showing yourself that like who you are and the way you view yourself isn't dependent on what other people want you to think. And that's how you find your people truly is by you being confident enough to show up as yourself.
Yeah, like people don't know if they're gonna be your friend if you're not being your true self.
Right.
They don't know what they're even getting into.
Yeah. And, I've talked about that a couple of times on this podcast. I lived my life so masked for so long. I was the whatever works for you girl. I was the whatever you want. I never vocalized opinions, even if it was as small as like where you want to go for dinner. I never vocalized any preferences. And I've learned that people care about my opinions. They're not just asking me because they want to hear a response. They're
Right.
asking me because they see me and they care about me. And it's a coping mechanism to kind of say, oh, whatever works, when I don't really mean whatever works.
When you do that, you're diminishing your worth.
Absolutely.
When they never did.
Yeah.
It's always you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that a reflection of our perceptions of ourselves and
Yeah.
not other people's? Like projecting almost our own
Oh, yeah.
feelings and our own securities.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because I feel like, I don't know about for you, but there have been times where it's been so much easier for me to project onto other people than to just be honest with myself about how I really felt.
Of course, I would rather it be somebody else's fault about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that when it's actually like the call is coming from inside the house. Like I am the problem here.
Yeah. And my
Yeah.
biggest like thing, like everybody has, do you know your Enneagram?
Yes, I took it, and I can't remember what it is
Oh
now.
my
I
gosh.
first took it once I met you.
Okay, we're
But
gonna
you
yap about
asked
that when we
me.
get off this live, and then we're
Yes.
gonna talk about it. But, like, my biggest thing is I have this innate fear of I don't wanna get in trouble.
Yes, Sam.
I don't wanna get in trouble, like, so I get defensive. I don't wanna get in trouble because then that means things aren't going according to plan or they're going wrong. And I've just had to learn that, like, mistakes are just mistakes if you let them be mistakes.
Yeah, and everybody has them. When somebody else makes a mistake, I know I've made a mistake and I've had to tell you. And I've been so scared. Actually, when I first started, remember we had that situation?
Yes,
My
yeah,
heart was racing. And you were cool as a cucumber. You were like, girl, it's no big deal. I got you.
I
But
remember
in my
that.
head, I built it up so much. He hates me. I'm going to get fired.
Yep.
It wasn't a big deal at all. But to me, it truly was. It was the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, well,
But there's your example, how you felt in that moment is probably how other people feel about you.
yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't even remember the specifics of that
I'll
situation
never
at
forget
this
it.
Right,
But it was my situation,
right,
yeah.
but I'll never forget the conversation that we had.
You made me feel so much better about it, truly, and I just started, so you already know, I was a little on shaky ground.
Yeah.
No, you made me feel great about it.
Well, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but your growth in general has just been so fun to watch. It's been so fun to watch you really just come into yourself and like find your own voice and find your people. And like it gets me emotional because I've always wanted to have like a deeper friendship with you. So I'm so glad that we're like
Oh, that's so
getting to cultivate
sweet.
that, you know? Like,
Yes, me too, and we're so similar. I never get to see
yes,
you because we work opposite
I know
hours.
we really do.
That was another reason I was so excited to do your hair, just to get you back.
Yes.
Thank you. It has been a journey and it has been a long one, but I do feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. Like I'm in the right place at the right time. They've been so nice. And being a Fury has honestly been the biggest part of that. Because being here makes me feel confident. And also like the sisterhood and the girlhood that we have here
Yeah.
and like the gassing up that we do with each other, that's been a big part of me, like being confident and being who I really am.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
it's so cool to see you like
Thank you.
come into that.
Thank
With
you.
everything that kind of comes with this career, what's the thing that keeps you in love with being a stylist?
I took some time off with having kids and just like moving and stuff. Every single day that I wasn't at the salon, I thought about it. I don't know what it is that makes me love it, but everything. But when I'm not at the salon, I don't feel like myself. Like there's something
Mm,
about the connection and just like all of it
yeah.
that makes me feel like myself. And maybe it's like being of service to others. Like that's the way I know how to be of service to others.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that, but I really think it's like just the connection and stuff. I love that.
No, I totally understand that because my favorite thing to do is like help others and like
Yeah.
be there for others. My sports of connection groups, actually, like my coaching groups, that is my favorite thing in life to do. Is connecting and helping other people connect and helping other people learn to get curious about the world around them, about other people. And
And that's such a crazy term to connect because that can mean so many things. Like I had a conversation with a guy at the gas station the other day. It lasted maybe 30 seconds, but that was like a genuine connection we had.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like, isn't that the point of life?
Isn't
Right?
that, yeah, like the point is to
Literally the
know
point.
other people and to make other people feel seen and heard.
Connection and growth.
Yeah, before, I was doing this and before I was a salon manager, I was a youth pastor for about 5
Oh,
years.
that's different.
Yes, it's a very different realm, but something I would always tell my students is your story matters. Every person has a story, and you never know who you're gonna impact by sharing it, and I stand by that, and to this day, I'm still, like, pretty close with a lot of my students, but I hear that in what you're saying, like, even in those 30 seconds at the gas station, like, that is an opportunity to hear someone else's story and also to share a piece of your own.
Yeah, and it wasn't like obviously it wasn't a lot of story, but it's just like connecting and like being part of a community and just like sharing the human experience in general, particularly in girlhood. But just with that guy at the gas station, even it's nice. It's reassuring,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it makes like everything feel all to one.
I love
Right?
that. I love that so much. All right, I got one more deep question for you, and then we'll get into some fun, like rapid fire questions. So, last question I have is what's one thing you wish every client knew before they sat in the chair?
About hair?
In general, could be about hair, could be about life, could be about you, whatever your gut instinct is, that's the answer I want.
Oh, it's so hard because there's so many different types of clients. I guess as far as like from a stylist perspective, My goodness, this is so hard.
I know, I put you on the
Okay,
spot.
however long I told you it's gonna take, go ahead and add 40 bucks. That's a good one. And call your husband and tell him the same thing.
Yeah.
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 That's a big one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's
You
so
already
real.
know.
So real. That's so real. A husband math they don't really like do the math on these things.
No,
They don't really
add the
know.
time.
Yeah. They don't add the time. They
Very
don't.
literal.
Yeah. They're very like, wait, your hair is going to take you 3 hours? And I'm like, that's if I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's if we're zooming on through. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like I don't know, what's the guy like equivalent, like a tattoo set? I mean, I have a lot of tattoos, like a tattoo session, like
Yeah, that's faster for women too, though, because they sit better.
that's true.
Yeah, men don't have an equivalent to that. They don't really have to. I mean, I guess they could, and some men probably do come get balayage and spend 3 hours. That's the rare exception to the people that do know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's great, like advice. All right. We're going to get into some fun ones. What is a hair trend you'll always defend?
Okay, I know this is crazy, but I love Spritz. I love, in particular, y'all already know, I love Carrie Bradshaw hair. The bigger, the frizzier, the poofier. Love that. I love a brushed out curl. I like it to look fancy. I love that's a trend from like 72 though. So I don't, you could still call that a trend. It was a trend.
As somebody with very frizzy, fine curls, I love that because
Well, it looks like a cloud. It's
I mean,
romantic.
I feel like that's how my hair kind of looked before we started doing it.
And I loved it.
It was very like poofy and I felt like a poodle, but
I thought you had the most romantic Victorian curl.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you just made my whole day.
Well, that's what your hair looks like.
All right. What's a hair trend you'd delete forever?
The Kelly Clarkson. Younger people, that's like stripes. Well, we're doing calico. This is a different version. I'm talking about black, white, red up here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yep.
about.
Yep. The like early, like chosen.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah. What about the haircut? Like for haircut too, or just the stripes?
Well, it was a little chunky,
Yeah.
her cut. But I'm not too mad about the cut because I feel like that's a variation on the Rachel.
Yeah. Okay.
Although Jennifer Aniston hated that cut, but we can't say that's not an iconic hair.
It is an iconic haircut. There are people who still call today asking for that haircut.
In elementary school, every time I went to a salon, you already know I was asking for the Rachel every time.
Yeah. She was an icon of our time.
It really
sure.
was.
All right. What's a desert island product? You could bring 3 on a desert island with you. Yeah. I'm going to give you 3.
One, Orbay texturize and spray.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep.
Probably also the Orbay Mystify.
Ooh, okay.
So when I do my jogs in the morning, my hair's so gross after, you already know. And I take and I refresh all of my scalp with that and blow dry it in. And I feel like, not like a shampoo, but almost.
I'm going to try that.
Yes, try that. In particular, when it's summertime and you get kind of sweaty, it reactivates your product and everything too. So if you hit it with the blow dryer, it's really good for that.
I knew it reactivated like your curls. Like if you like curled.
Really?
Yeah, like if you curl your hair and you spray it, it'll reactivate them.
I use it to like refresh, and it works great for me.
Okay, so Mystify dry texture and
the Premier split in serum.
ooh, serum filler.
The serum filler, yep,
That's a good one.
and it smells so good.
What would mine be? Izumi rice water, leave-in conditioner. If you are like me and you have fine frizzy curls. Oh, hey Bridget, I just talked about you a little bit ago. Fine frizzy curls, great for you.
It's really lightweight too, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's my favorite. That would be number 1 for sure. I think second is also going to be another Shu Uemura product. It's going to be the oil and cream. It's my favorite oil. I'm obsessed with her. I use it all the time. And then I would say the Refresh Absolute spray from Kerastase. The curl refresh spray.
Oh, I just got that one.
It's so good.
The Curl Manifesto one.
It's so good. Yeah. If you have curly hair.
So for me, day 1, I've been using water, but that day 2 and day 3, and that stuff looks crazy. And I've been using the styling spray.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference. It's like such lightweight product in it.
Yep.
That it's not weighing me down. Yeah.
Yep. And you can spray it on dry hair, which I didn't
That's
even.
what I do.
I didn't even realize until like actually read the instructions on the back because I was putting water in my hair and then like.
I think that's probably good for dispersion though, like so it has a carrier. That makes sense.
But I realized it the other day. I was like, oh shit, I can put this on dry hair too. That's amazing. All right. Hi Kyle, everybody. DJ Angerick is on here. He made the podcast intro. So just so you guys know, Any DJing needs you have, go follow him. All right. Okay. Dream celebrity head of hair to style.
Okay. I'm gonna say Chloe Sevigny because I think
Ooh,
weird. You
that's
know?
fun.
Yeah, like I could do like some Dutch braids like this with like a big bow on top or something. She would let me do something very fashion forward.
That's so fun. I love that. All right. And I'm very excited about this question. The most recent girl math equation you stood by.
Okay. So we had talked about the thrifting, which thrifting is girl math in general, because if I thrifted it, first of all, like I'm being good about the environment.
Right.
Also, it's a fraction of the price, so it's cool to buy whatever.
Of course. You're saving the earth.
Okay, Publix BOGO, that gets me bad. I'm not from Florida, so Publix is still like really cool for me. And the BOGOs get me every time because I'm like, well, why wouldn't I buy 2 or 3 of these things? I need all of this.
I will literally go on my Instacart app when I'm doing my grocery shopping. And instead of this is like very chaotic for somebody who's as type A as I am. I'm extremely type A. I will literally like just go on Instacart and I will shop by BOGOs.
And so the sales night comes out on Thursdays, and I looked it up the night before. Look at this glove. What happened? I was just trying to get it on, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. But yeah, I actually look up the BOGOs before I make my grocery list, and I do it on Friday off of the BOGOs. But then I'll end up with 2 boxes of something everybody in my family hates, and they're never going to eat.
Eric says the app has a BOGO of the week section and it is so dangerous.
What has it?
The app, the Publix app.
I'm addicted to checking for the BOGOs, but you can't get it till Thursdays.
Okay, I have 2 favorite things at Publix specifically. The first is the Heath Bar toffee cookies.
Oh my God.
Have you had those?
Yes. I love a Heath Bar.
I will eat a whole container without shame.
Light work. There's only 12.
Without shame.
Yeah.
And then the Publix chicken tender sub.
Now, have you had the sub in a tub?
No.
Sub in a tub. It's a salad, but it's a deli salad. So it's everything that you would get on your sub, but they do it on a bed of chopped lettuce. And I do the chicken tender sub, add some cucumber, tomato, all this stuff, a little bit of honey mustard and ranch. Sub in a tub, it's so good.
I'm a pickle girl, so I would be adding like 20,000 pickles.
I can make you a little dill fried chicken salad.
Yes. Well, and when you go to Publix, do you like pickles? When you're okay. If you are a pickle girl like me, you have to ask specifically for the Publix garlic pickles.
Okay, I didn't know that was an option, but yeah, I'm into that.
They have regular pickles and then they also have garlic pickles.
Have you told Michaela about this?
I don't know that I have it, but Kayla brought in the Sour Patch like pickle straws.
You gotta let Michaela know about these pickles.
The
She's
garlic
a pickle girl.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta let her know.
My husband makes fun of me because I'll have like 5 different tubs of different kinds of pickles.
Different pickles for different things.
Right.
Yeah, like with different cheeses.
Oh,
or whatever.
Yes. Yes. I like to like melt cheese on the stove and put a pickle in it or like make pickle nachos.
Ooh,
I'm
like
a weirdo.
Parmesan.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I can do that.
Yes. I love my pickles. My most recent girl math equation, I feel like it has something to do with a concert. It wasn't my most recent, but I justified going to Europe to see Taylor Swift.
I think everything about that's super justifiable because first of all, you gotta live your life, right?
Right. Number one.
You gotta live your life. You're young, you don't have kids. Go ahead and go to Europe. Now's the time. And if you don't do it now, you probably never will.
Well, okay, so 2 different girl math equations with Europe. The first is last year, Taylor Swift had her Eras tour, and I got floor seats for $250 in Europe, which is the same price I was paying for nosebleeds here in the States.
Yeah, and you're in Europe.
Right. So I was like, I'm going to go to the concert and then I'm going to take a week-long trip and I'm going to explore Europe.
And you got that good flight thing, right?
Yeah, flight pass.
Well, girl math that.
I girl math that all the time.
Makes a lot of sense.
That one, they don't go to Europe. It's Frontier. It's only domestic. But I be girl math in a lot of flights.
And maybe taxes are different, so maybe merch will be cheaper there. Maybe not.
No, it was about the same. But then
I'm just trying to help you out.
You are. My friend Chloe, she's getting married in 2027. So we're planning her bachelorette party. And we decided we're gonna go to Portugal for her bachelorette party.
Cool.
And my other girl math with Europe was I said, okay, well, we're already gonna be going to Europe and you turn 30. Like we might as well extend by a week and go to Italy. Right? Like we're already gonna be over there.
Well, think about the cost of tickets back home and then
Right.
the tickets back. Yeah, no, that makes sense too. But I might be the worst person to ask because I'm always going to be like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Why would you not do that?
What's
Yeah.
your favorite place you've traveled?
Yeah, I haven't actually traveled that much. I'm working on our passport stuff right now, and it is so complicated to do passports. But I've never really been anywhere. My favorite place, as far as like US travel is New Orleans, of course.
I love New Orleans.
I like anything spooky. I
Yeah.
just like spooky stuff.
I don't like spooky. My friend Eric, who was on here, I don't know if he still is, but he's a big like horror movie guy. I wish I could get into it, but I get scared too easily.
Oh, I can't watch scary movies at all. I like spooky stuff, but almost like in a like spiritual or in a camp way.
Oh, that's fun.
But not anything that will actually scare. Like I cannot watch The Conjuring at all.
Yeah.
Or whatever that one is where the nun goes across in the background. That's so scary to me. I can't do that.
So do you like Halloween then?
I love Halloween. I bet like Hocus Pocus Halloween.
Yeah, like Disney
Not
Channel,
yeah, not Scream Halloween.
Disney Channel Halloween.
The Halloween Town, that's my jam.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
such a
season.
good one. That's such a good one. If someone feels like they're figuring themselves out, what's one thing you'd want them to like know?
You don't gotta figure it out today.
Period.
And you won't.
Period. And that's all she wrote.
Bye.
It's okay to take time. All right, last thing before we go. Where obviously you're an adorable angel human. You're gonna have so many loving and adoring fans who would like to book with you. How do they do that?
On my Instagram, I have a clickable link for booking, and there's also a message button that you can always feel free to hit if you have any questions about anything. And then also on my TikTok, I'm Shelby period Renners on TikTok and Shelby C. Wren on Instagram.
Yes, and we're gonna link. Obviously, this is live, but this will be available on all of my normal platforms later. I'm gonna put all of her links in the show notes, so you guys will be able to book with her easily. But she is fantastic and incredible. And stay tuned because we're gonna be announcing that giveaway winner next week. And if you were here, you automatically get an extra entry. So thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with us and yapping with us. And we are going to go ahead and end this live. And I hope everybody has a great week and a great rest of the night. Adios.